Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen, but before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, never ever seen any of my lineup advice videos, the only thing you have to do to be a part of the community and get this information on a consistent basis is to become a subscriber. So if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so down below. Make sure you put on the post notifications. That way you don't miss out on any of my NBA lineup advice videos. With that being said, today is Tuesday, February the 12th, 2019, and we have a 5-game slate in the association today. And let's just get right to it, man. We're going to go to my weapon of choice here for my research. My research tool is Draft Dashboard right now. For you guys who have seen it yet, or it's your first time here watching my videos, I use Draft Dashboard to narrow down my research time. It definitely, everything that you need pretty much to get at least your general information for daily fantasy sports is right here on one screen, and that's the beauty of it. So as you can see, we're going to start on the left-hand side just to get you through the screen a little bit, or at least get you familiar with the tool. You got top players today. You got the NBA cheat sheet, something that Chris added not so long ago to the actual software. I mean, this software was introduced to me 6 months ago, 7 months ago, early on when I had my channel, started my channel, and a lot of features have been added since then. So he's done a great job here, and this is one of the ones that he did add, which is the cheat sheet. So if you don't even want to go through all this, which is it's going to be simple enough for you, you can actually just get the cheat sheet as well. You got the position optimizer, which is where I'm at right now. You got sleepers and studs tab, player trend, lineup optimizer. As you can see, my watch players list is 32 players. So that's where you take your watch players, you optimize them in the lineup optimizer. It'll break down, spit out some lineups for you, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, you got everything else you need here. You got all the positions all on your screen. You got the players. You got who they're playing against. Implied totals are right here, 228.5. You got what their price tag is on DK here, also on the one screen. Also with this software, you can utilize it for the same price on DK as well as FanDuel. So you can't go wrong. Plus, it also has 4 other sports you're able to utilize for Major League Baseball, which I will be doing very soon. So if you guys are into Major League Baseball, make sure you subscribe, follow, and at the same time maybe utilize the Draft Dashboard as well. And of course, you got the fantasy points per game, you got the minutes, you got the usage, you got the opponents, what they've done against the opponent, you got the DVP and the defensive rankings, you name it, everything is on here. Even right now, Chris has added ownership projections, which is something that is just an excellent add-on to this actual software. I think that's one of the reasons why I said to myself, I'll give it a shot. So again, all this right here, all in one window, and I can offer that to you, to my viewers and my subscribers. Chris has allowed me to be able to share that with you guys for 30 days for $1. So again, if you want to utilize the software, be able to watch my players list right here where it says watch players. When I click on that, when you click on that on your screen, if you decide to test drive Draft Dashboard, you're going to see this tab here on the top, because it's going to be linked in with that link in the description of the video. You click on that, you sign up for Draft Dashboard, you're going to be able to have access to my watch DFS Zones picks. So you're going to see it just like that, a tab like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's entirely there, available to you for 30 days for $1. Again, I can assure you and I can guarantee you, I mean, just me alone, the last 4 days, I've been averaging 300s in 4 or 5 straight days, pretty much. So just utilizing some of my picks and being able to, you doing your own research here, as well as using some other research, which I utilize and I highly recommend. NBA.com, basketballreference.com, very good 2 sources that you can actually go to. And I use those for more for like team statistics, knowing offense and defensive efficiencies, turnover ratios, you name it. Everything is on there, and you go, so those are 2 areas you can go to get it added. But everything else that you need is right here on the screen. So if you want to be able to do that, again, 30 days for $1. Click on the link down below. I'm able to give you that for that price. And I assure you, the $1, you're going to get that back, in just a couple of days, maybe even a week, or even less, depending on what type of player you are, if you're a cash player or a GPP player like me. All right, enough of that. Let's get right to it. So at point guard today, at the top, man, and I'm sorry this video is coming out very, very late. New York City, I'm in Long Island, and we have had slush, we have snow, rain, sleet. I mean, it's like ice building up really quickly. It is horrific outside. It took me a long time to get myself home today, and that's why this video is coming out late to you guys. You're probably going to get it after 4 o'clock, but better late than never, and that's the way I feel about it. Sometimes I just say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do it, but today I just feel I have to, because I didn't do any over the weekend. So I'm here. Let's get it done. So at point guard today, we're going to go right to it, try to make it quick. I do like at the top, let me just fix this here. and get this to the top top position players. We're going to go right there. I do like Mike Conley out of the three guys on the top. You got Curry, you got Simmons, and Conley at $8,700 for $400 less than Curry. I do like Conley's matchup a little bit better, so I will be in favor of Mike Conley. I do think that today you can pay down and get a couple of nice, decent plays in the point guard position without having to pay $8,700. I will have exposure to Mike Conley. I won't say he's a core for me, but again, if you follow along with that watch players list, if you come aboard on Draft Dashboard, you're going to be able to see by the end of the day, about a half hour before lock, I pretty much already have settled in on whom I really, really do like. And usually is that this list is going to be narrowed down maybe to about anywhere between 12 to 17 players, usually on average somewhere around there. So we'll see what ends up being the case later on today. But Mike Conley, I do like versus San Antonio. $8,700 pretty much for him here on FanDuel. You need 43 to meet value. On DK, he's $7,900, so you need about 39. He's averaging 37. All right, as you can see, his last 3 games, he's actually been trending downward as far as fantasy point totals. But again, even though he's had 2 straight games under 37, he does have 50-point upside. He is at home, and he's in a favorable matchup against San Antonio because the San Antonio guards, I don't think they really can handle Mike Conley. And now knowing that there's no Gasol, and he's going to be really the main integral part of the team as far as offensively, he's the main guy here. I expect him to take even more shots, have more usage, more minutes, more of everything. So Mike Conley is definitely someone you got to consider here, $8,700. Again, playing over 32 minutes. He's been taking 15, 16 shots more or less per game, 5 or 6 threes pretty much per game, and he's actually also can get you some rebounds and it gets you some assists. He's not that bad of a defender, so he's capable of getting you some steals time to time. So Mike Conley is definitely in a good spot. As you can see, he did put up a 54 against San Antonio way back. That had to be sometime last year. Put up a 29 the last game against them. Again, I'm not even concerned about that. The situation is different now with no Marc Gasol. He is at home. His home numbers this year, 43% field goal percentage, 32% from 3. He has 20 points per game and 38 fantasy points per game. I expect those numbers to go up. In 3 games, he has played 3 games against San Antonio. Obviously, this is the first game he's going to play against them without no Gasol. San Antonio, he's shooting 44% from the floor, 33% from 3, averaging 22 points per game, which is averaging more than what his average is, and 37 fantasy points per game. San Antonio this year is 24th in defending point guards, allowing 37.4 fantasy points per game. As of late, they did give up 32 to Rubio in the last game, 53 to Lillard, 41 to Curry, and 41 to Fox, all in the last 4 games. Other than Conley, I have my eye also on Trae Young on his paced-up game against the Lakers. I think he is someone you can consider as well. $7,400 for him. You need 36 to meet value. On DK, he's $6,700. You need 33 there. He's averaging 31. And he's capable of getting you 40. He did put 42 games ago here. As you can see, he's averaging 31 for the season. He is slightly trending a little bit up on his fantasy point totals. Minutes are there as well, averaging 30 a game. He's been pretty much at 26 through 28 over the last 3. But again, 8 out of his last 10 games, folks, he has had at least 31 fantasy points per game. He's taking about 14, 15 shots a game, and he's also taking about 3 or 4 threes. If he knocks those down at regularity, 40, 45%, he's going to do very well. He also gets you about 7 assists or more per game, and he is capable of getting you a few rebounds. We'll prefer him to get a few more, and he can get you the occasional steal here and there. At home this year, he's shooting 41% from the floor, 30% from 3, averaging 17 points per game, 32 fantasy points per game. He did play 1 game against LA. He shot 44% in that game, 50% from 3, and had 20 points from the floor and 46 fantasy points. So he did very well against them. The Lakers are 19th in defending point guards thus far this year, allowing 33.2 fantasy points per game. And recently gave up 47 to Irving, 29 to Collison, and 47 and 27 in 2 respective games back to Ben Simmons. And as you can see right now, he is projected at 15% ownership. I do expect that to go up a little bit more, but maybe not no more than 16, 17%. He's projected at 26%. I'm looking at the wrong guy. That's Mike Conley. Sorry about that. 26% for Young. I expect Conley to go up a little bit too, and I think Trae Young is pretty much where he's going to be at. He may be as high as 30 before the day's over. I do believe he's a fine play. Other than that, obviously, you got to have some consideration of Terry Rozier. His minutes, his usage all goes up with no Kyrie Irving, so he's definitely in play. I do like Rondo here in the same matchup against Atlanta. You got to have some exposure to the LA-Atlanta game. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to it because it has the highest implied totals. I think it's also considered a fairly good over-under. LA, the last time I checked, I think it was LA's 5.5-point favorite on the road. So it should be an interesting game. If Atlanta could keep it close, this could be a big game for LeBron to put up some huge numbers, as well as Trae Young and some of the other guys in Atlanta. Let's move on. If you want to be able to see the rest of these guys on my player pool, you can do that by signing up with Draft Dashboard, all right? And the link is in the description. So let's go to shooting guard. A shooting guard today, at the top, right away, I am going all the way down to Mr. DeMar DeRozan. I think DD is someone to consider here. 8,100, you need 40. On DK, 7,300, you need 37. He's averaging 40. He has 50-point upside, as we know. He hasn't been that great, but he is still, what I like is his usage is still very high. He's still taking tons of shots. He's getting more than enough minutes for his price tag. He just needs to bury some more shots. You know, he needs to bury the shots a little bit more. He has had 39+ in 2 out of his last 3 games, and he's playing over 33 minutes a game. As of late, he's, obviously we know his shooting has gone up slightly a little bit more. He was averaging 15, 16 shots a game, and then I look closely, he's now averaging more like 19, 20 shots a game. So he's definitely taking some more shots. He just needs to bury them more at a better rate. He can get you some rebounds and assists, and he has the potential to get you some steals as well. So DeMar DeRozan in play here. Usage rate, like I said, pretty high, over 29% over the last 2 games. Hasn't put up huge numbers against Memphis, but again, different situation, man. It's just a different situation. He's on the road. On the road, he's shooting 49% field goal percentage, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. He's averaging 23 points per game from the floor and 41 fantasy points. So he's doing excellent on the road. 3 games against this team this year, he's just not shooting well. Like I said, he's been shooting 37% against this team this year. Now, granted, he was defended by Temple. When I looked back at everything, he was defended in all 3 games by Garrett Temple. And Temple's not there anymore, but they did pick up Avery Bradley, who's a pretty good defender as well. So I would think Bradley's going to be on him. Nonetheless, the amount of usage, the minutes, the shots he's been taking, you got to at least have some sort of exposure to DeMar DeRozan in this matchup. I will have exposure to him. All right, Memphis is 4th in defending shooting guards, 17.4 fantasy points per game to be given up to opposing to opposing shooting guards over the last 5 games. They did give up only they only gave up 32 recently to Drew Holiday, who is a top-tier shooting guard. Other than that, their last 4 or 5 opponents before that were Ferguson, Okogie, Dotson. They haven't faced anybody really that good over the course who's going to take this amount of shots, this amount of usage. It's an integral part of the offense of their team. I do like DeMar DeRozan here, even though the numbers look pretty good for Memphis against him. Other than DeMar DeRozan, like I said, I'm going to have exposure to the Boston Celtics due to the fact that it's the Kyrie Irving. I will have a little sprinkle of Rozier, not a whole lot. I do like Jaylen Brown a whole lot in this game today. So Jaylen Brown is the next guy I'm going to discuss with you guys. 5,200 for Jaylen Brown. He's 5,100 on DK. You pretty much need 25, 26 to meet value. He's averaging 23, so the price tag is pretty close. Can get you 40, and I mean, he is playing over 30 minutes. He's playing 30 minutes. He can get you 40 if he plays over 30. Let's put it that way. Looking at his numbers, really good on my sheet right now. If he plays 30 minutes or more, he has a shot to get you close to 40. 24+ in 6 out of his last 7 games, so he's trending upward. His numbers away from home, 45% shooting percentage, 32% from 3, 13 points per game, 22 fantasy points per game. Now, granted, he's going to probably get some, he's going to probably get he's going to be in a position here that he's going to have to put up some shots. I mean, maybe Rozier will take a few more, but looking at him really closely, he's had the best success other than Rozier out of all the guys when Kyrie Irving is off the floor. He has been pretty much averaging in 6 games, the last 6 games that Kyrie has missed, he has been averaging almost nearly 34 fantasy points per game, and we know his average is about 23, so he's almost 13 points higher. So he's definitely in a good situation here today. Philadelphia 8th in defending shooting guards, giving up 23.2, which is not a whole lot, fantasy points per game to opposing shooting guards. Versus Philly this year in 2 games, he did not shoot that well. Again, those same numbers were same thing. Those numbers with Jaylen Brown are more so because the 2 games against Philly, I look back and he didn't shoot particularly well. Granted, he didn't shoot well. He shot only 35% of those 2 games. He didn't take that many shots either, but he missed a lot of shots. But in those games also, Kyrie Irving played. And now there's no Kyrie Irving, and when he is off the floor, he gets a bump in usage, minutes, and shots, and he has done well. So I expect him to do well here today. I only need him to get 25 to me value, 26. But I do believe he has the opportunities to get us 35, maybe even as high as 40. So Jaylen Brown in play for me. And, of course, there'll be others here that you could look at if you are part of the draft dashboard. You could watch on my player list. I got Bazemore that I'm keeping my eye on if he gets more minutes. KCP could be a nice little drop spot, punt play there. And then you got, of course, a number of others here that I am also considering. Terrence Ross, I definitely like a whole lot. Kevin Herter is definitely someone that I'm considering in that Laker game. Let's go over this small forward. That small forward at the top, man, is LeBron James. And I do like LeBron James a whole lot in this game because, again, like I said, I'm going to have exposure to this game. I think this is a game that you definitely can stack, and you got to have to throw LeBron James in there. Obviously, we know Atlanta is very, very bad defensively all across the board in every position. So we expect LeBron James to do well. I think he's going to get 60 or better in this game. He's at 11,002 in this matchup. You need pretty much 56 to me value on FanDuel. On DK, he's 10,005. You need 52. He's averaging 50. He's played only pretty much 4 games since coming back from injury. He's averaging 33-plus minutes since coming back, and he's had 2 triple-doubles and just nearly had a 3rd triple-double. In the last game, he missed it by 1 assist. He's had 2 solid games where he put up 53 and 66 respectively. So we know he has 60, 70-point upside. We know that he gets more than enough shots. His usage is there, 31% as you can see on average, 25 and 30 and 29 since coming back. If this game stays fairly close, you could always see LeBron take over late in the game. So LeBron James definitely in play. The minutes, 33, 37. He's playing 35 pretty much on average. He's taking about 19, 20 shots a game, 6 or 7 threes per game on average. He can get you rebounds. We know that. He can get you assists. He is a double-double, and he's capable of getting you a triple-double any given night, and he is capable of defending and getting you some steals and the occasional block. On the road this year, as far as his numbers are concerned, 51% field goal percentage, 35% from 3. He's averaging 26 points per game, 52 fantasy points per game, which is above his average of 50. Versus Atlanta, one game this year, he put up 26 points from the floor and only 44 fantasy points. But again, Atlanta's coming in here. They're 30th, dead last in defending small forwards, allowing 33.4 fantasy points per game. All right. And in the last few games, they did give up 41 to Mr. Isaac, 27 to Batum, 41 to Ariza, and 36 to Engels. And right now, his projected ownership is at 24% as I speak at about almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time. So I expect him to go up a little bit more. He'll be closer to 30 when it's all said and done. I don't think he's going to be high chalk, but he's going to definitely be someone that's going to be taken. This is a game that you got to have some exposure to some of the players, either LA or Atlanta or some of both. All right. Other than LeBron, I am going to come down and save you guys some money. I do have my eye on Isaac. I do like Williams here if he's going to play sufficient minutes. Mr. Gay here could be someone to consider here at 5,900. But I'm going to go down to Joe Engels just simply because he's at 5,500. I feel he's going to get us 7, possibly 8x in this game because he's had already great success against the Golden State Warriors. As you can see here, last 3 matchups against him, 33 and 46, averaging 34. But I think he has 40-point. We know he has 40-point upside. 5,500 on FanDuel. You need 26, 27 to me value. I would say 27 on DK. He's 5,000 on the nose. You need 25. He's averaging 26. And he has 35, 40-point upside, 26 plus in 5 out of his last 7 games. So he has been trending upward, can get you 40, like I said. He's playing over 30 minutes a game, okay, pretty much on average. He's taking 9 to 10 shots a game and 5 or 6 threes per game on average, okay. He can get you some rebounds and assists, and he'll get you the occasional steal here and there. So definitely a solid play all across the board for Engels here. Away from home this year, 43% field goal percentage, 32% from 3. He's averaging 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He's pretty balanced there. 1.5 steals per game, 10 points, and 25 fantasy points per game. He has played Golden State twice this year, and in those 2 games, he has shot 61% from the floor, 55% from 3, averaging 23 points per game and 40 fantasy points per game. Now, that is incredible. I went on, when I saw those, I said, let me go and look a little bit deeper. Golden State has given up 40 to 41 fantasy points per game on average throughout the year to opposing small forwards that actually shoot well from 3. Okay, they've given up 36% to opposing opponents shooting from 3 from the small forward spot. 36%. And this is a guy here that can definitely shoot 35 to 40% at times if he is hot from 3. So Engels definitely in a good spot. Golden State is 12th in defending small forwards, allowing 29.6 fantasy points per game. They recently gave up 47 to Richardson, 35 to Bridges. That's over the course of the last 2 games out of the last 5. Those are the top dogs there. And like I said, they have exposure to a few other people. Obviously, that's going to be narrowed down before lock. Okay, power forward. At power forward at the top, let me make sure I have the top dogs here. You got AD at the top at 12.5. I don't expect to have some AD. I do have some quarter GPPs I'm playing. I may sprinkle him in there in one. He has played well enough. I mean, he put 39 in the last game. 30. He put up 52 in the last game and 53. Not quite what I'm looking for. I would like to see him back in that 60 or better. His average is 62, so he's obviously trending downward. But he was off all week, with all the trade rumors and everything. He has played well. We just need him to elevate the game a little bit more. It could be tonight against Orlando. We will see. I will probably put him in one or two lineups. I do like LaMarcus Aldridge here quite a bit, but even though Memphis is pretty good defensively, but then again, they don't got Marcus All anymore, so you got to consider him. I think I will have some exposure to him, maybe about 5%. Either 5 to 10 on my lineups. I may have some sprinkle of LaMarcus Aldridge, but I want to give you guys some savings, and I'm going to talk about Kyle Kuzma here, who's looked fabulous in the last game. 43 points in his last game. He's averaging 30. He had 43 and 37 in the last two games. 6,700 for him here on on FanDuel. So you need 33 to meet value on DK. 6,000 on the nose. You need 30, and he's averaging 30. So he's priced just exactly right on DK. He has 40 plus upside. We know that, as he got 43 recently. 37 plus in 2 straight games, and he has had 25 floor points per game in 2 straight games. So he's been on fire. He is definitely on fire, and he's in a position here, paced up game against Atlanta, been shooting well lately, taking more shots. He's been taking was averaging 14 to 15 shots a game, and in the last 2 games, he's shot up both games 21 shots per game from the floor and taking 8 threes per game over the course of the last 2 games as well. He has been, fantastic. The only thing is the only problem with him is that he seems to be just more about a scoring dependent, more so than being this player that can get you rebounds and assists and get you some steals. He needs to get a few more of those, and he can definitely be a great fantasy player. But for right now, he's playing so well. He's in a good, favorable matchup here against Atlanta, who gives up a ton of points to power forwards as well. I do like Kyle Kuzma here. He is averaging at home, his numbers are, at home. Away from home, his averages are 46% field goal percentage, 33% from 3, 19 points per game, 31 fantasy points per game. He's going up against Atlanta. They have played one time this year. He shot 44% in that game, had 18 points from the floor, 33 fantasy points, did also have 8 rebounds and 2 steals. Again, he's going up against Atlanta. Atlanta's 29th, as you can see here on the dashboard, defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 41.2 fantasy points per game. And when I saw that over the course of the last 5-6 games, I said, let me dig a little bit deeper and see what's going on here. Atlanta, for the entire season, is averaging 48.5 fantasy points per game. They're giving up a lot of fantasy points to power forwards. They really have been having trouble there. Recently, they gave up 38 to Mr. Williams, 62 to Siakam, 42 to Jackson, and 36 to Favors. So a lot of fantasy points given up. Kyle Kuzma is red hot right now. We'll ride that heat wave, and we'll see if he can get it done again today. I think he can get us 35, 40 at that price tag. I would love him to get 40, 45. He will kill it if he'll be able to do that. So Kuzma in play. Other than Kuz, I'm willing to come down, and again, exposure to that Boston team. Marcus Morris is another one of those players that does very well when there's no Kyrie Irving on the floor. So Marcus Morris is another one that I'm considering here today at 5,100. As long as he plays and he's 100%, I will have some exposure to him. 5,100, you need 25. On DK, he is 5,000. You need 25, so pretty much 25 fantasy points in both platforms. He's averaging 26, so he's actually priced below his average. Can get you high 30s, can even get you to 40. 25 plus in 5 out of his last 6 games, so he's been trending upward. His numbers have been pretty good. As you can see, 30 in the last game, and the minutes are there, 31 minutes in the last game. So as long as he gets the minutes, he is pretty much averaging 28 plus minutes over the last few games. He's taking, as of late, more shots as well. He has been taking 13 to 14 shots per game over the course of the last 4 games on average, from his average of only 10 or 11 shots. So he's been taking about 3 or 4 more, and he's taking also a few more threes, 5 to 6 threes per game as well. Like I said, he can get you some rebounds. He's a little physical. He's capable of getting you some steals and the occasional block. Away from home, 48% field goal percentage. He's shooting very, very well from the floor. Also shooting well from 3, 43%. He is actually shooting 4% better from 3 on the road than he is at home. All right, so 43% on the road, 15 points per game, 27 fantasy points per game. In 2 games against Philly this year, he has shot 60% field goal from the floor, 42% from 3 with 19 points per game and 36 fantasy points per game. So he's already averaging 36 against this team why not? As long as he's going to play, he's going to get 25. I would say if he's getting 28 minutes or better and he's healthy and he's ready to go, I think he is definitely someone here. I think he will smash. You only need 26. Like I said, you only need 26 for his price tag, and he is capable. He's already averaging 36. Philadelphia, 26 in defending power forwards, allowing 28.4 fantasy points per game. Kuzma put up 43 on them. Plumlee, 31, and Draymond Green put up 47. This is over the last few games. We're going to go over to center. And at center, same exposure again. I do like Al Horford here at 7,500. Now, I think Rudy Gay could be someone to consider here, more so than Vucevic. But, I mean, I'm going down to Horford, save some money, 7,500. He is pretty consistent. He is steady. He can get you 30 to 35. Even if he gets me 30 here, I'll be happy. But I do believe he's in a position here that he can get us 35, 40 as well. All right, just due to the fact that Kyrie is off. So no Kyrie, I definitely see a bump in usage, minutes, and shots for him. Horford, 7,500, you need 37 to me value. On DK, 6,300, you need 32. As you can see, that he's $1,200 cheaper on DK. That is a nice price for Al Horford. All right. Minutes, fantasy points per game, 31.5. And then he's been trending downward, 27 and 27 in his last two. But overall, over the last 8 games, he's averaging 30+ in 7 out of the 8 games. And we know he can get you close to 50. All right, he's steady enough for that 30 to 35. Minutes are there, 32 minutes in the last game, averaging 28. If he gets 28 or better, he will be great. His usage rate is not expected to be high because he's not a go-to guy offensively, so he is he's probably like the third option pretty much on this team, other than guys like Kyrie is number 1. I would say Jason Tatum and maybe some of the backcourt guys will be more so. Then it will be Al Horford. So Al Horford, I think, is third on this list, on this team for me as far as offense. But again, he's taking 10, 11 shots a game, 2 to 3 threes. And again, he can get you some rebounds and get you some assists. And he can get you steals, man. He's able to get you some steals and an occasional block here and there. He's pretty solid across the board, to be honest with you, as far as defensively, what kind of a player he is, as well as what he can do offensively. He shoots the rock well from the free throw line, too, when he gets to the foul line as well. Away from home this year, field goal percentage, 47%. He's shooting 35% from 3. He's averaging 11 points per game and 28 fantasy points per game. Against Philly, his numbers haven't been that great. Only 6 points per game and 24 fantasy points. But like I said about the other guys like Jason Tatum and so on and so forth, is that no Kyrie Irving. Those 2 games they played against Philly, Kyrie Irving played throughout both games entirely. And that obviously hurts the chances of how many shots, how many touches a guy like Al Horford is going to get. He's going to get an opportunity to do a little bit more today, and I think that he'll bury some shots and do a lot better. Philadelphia, 26 in defending. Center is allowing 37.6 fantasy points per game. McGee recently put up 43. Jokic put up 59. You got Ibaka with 36, and Stein, Willie Cauley-Stein, put up 38. So, again, I do think Al Horford is in great position. For me, I truly believe he could be someone who can get you 35, 40. He'll meet value, and I think he's capable of getting you 8, 9x here. So, Al Horford for me is in play. Other than that, I do like JaVale McGee in this paced-up game against Atlanta. Like I said, my exposure is taking advantage of no Kyrie Irving with some of the Boston players, and I'm definitely targeting Atlanta and LA Laker players in the LA-Atlanta matchup. So JaVale McGee is someone that you're definitely going to have some sort of exposure to. 6,300 on FanDuel. You need 32. On DK is $4,800. You only need 24 to meet value, and he's averaging 27. So he's below price on DK. If you play DK, I will be playing some DK today when I see a couple of little bargains like this. You definitely have to take advantage of it and definitely make a lineup and have some exposure to those guys. He's playing 26 plus fantasy points in 5 out of the last 6 games for him. He's playing over 26 minutes a game over the last couple of games, as you can see here. So his minutes have been trending upward as well. Then the usage rate, 27% in the last game. His average has been 20, so he's been trending upward on that as well. And he had a 31 spot against Atlanta the last time he played against them. All right, so not too bad for Mr. McGee. He's been also taking a lot more shots as of late too. A guy that only was averaging 6 or 7 or 8 shots a game. He's now taking in the last 4 games, averaging nearly 13 shots on average per game. He brings rebounding, and he definitely brings some blocks for you, and he'll get you the occasional steal here and there. Away from home this year, his numbers have been better, probably better than anybody on the Laker team on the road. 66% field goal percentage on the road with 11 points per game and 25 fantasy points per game versus Atlanta in one game this year. He put up 8 points. Okay, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal. There goes the blocks and steals. 28 fantasy points. Atlanta's coming in here 18th in defending centers and allowing 30.2 fantasy points per game. They gave up 40 to Vucevic recently. Zeller put up 30, and Ayton put up 34 a couple of games back. He is right now projected at 27% ownership. You know, he's going to be up there. He's going to be a popular play today. Cousins, as you can see here, is at 40%. I have no interest on Cousins, but he's at 40%, at least right now at the moment. You got guys like Joakim Noah. You got to consider Noah here. If he plays, he's been playing. He played 39 minutes in the last 30 minutes in the last game, put up 39 fantasy points. He's right there. Could be that nice little punt play at 3,700. That drop spot play, there he goes right there. Dedmon is always someone to consider as well. So, again, there'll be some guys that I'm following there. And that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, man, if you want to follow along on Draft Dashboard, the link is in the description of the video. You click on that. I can give you 30 days for $1. You'll be able to also stay on top of my watch players list, and you can follow along with me throughout the NBA season. And when we do MLB, if you were with Draft Dashboard then as well, you'll be able to do MLB with me as well. So again, you know, that's pretty much it. Sorry about the video being late. Please drop a like on the video. Make sure you share the video with others on the internet. And other than that, man, if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please do so down below. And other than that, that's basically it, man. I wish everybody a lot of luck tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.